What's up, my beautiful ninjas? I hope you guys are all having an awesome day. Of course, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. As you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about vulnerability today. And I think that this is definitely one of those topics that are not really discussed enough, simply because I feel like we all have a very weird relationship with vulnerability. I think that it's like, as young girls, we're raised not to be too vulnerable, not to show too much of our emotions, and then young boys, I feel like they're taught not to show any emotions or not to feel it at all, not to really allow yourself to surrender to it. And I think that because of that, we all have a very odd and weird relationship with vulnerability. But I think that what we don't recognize is that it's a natural part of our everyday lives. I feel like from driving a car to being a caretaker to being a single parent or falling in love, all of that requires vulnerability. And I think that it's amazing when we open up our hearts and we find the strength to do what's required of us the best way that we know how. But I feel like, when is it time for us to open up our hearts to ourselves? When is it time for us to take it there for ourselves? For our own healing, which will obviously lead to freedom. And I think that we don't recognize that it takes more strength and bravery to submit to vulnerability than it does hiding from it and running away from it. It takes a lot more strength and courage and bravery to submit to it. And I think that when it comes to vulnerability in general, I feel like we have a weird relationship with it, because I feel like we feel as if we allow ourselves to go there, if we take ourselves to that place when it comes to ourselves, because we do it with other people and for other people all the time. But I think that when we think about basically allowing or taking ourselves there for ourselves and being vulnerable with ourselves and our feelings and our thoughts and our opinions and our experiences, I think that we think that it's going to tear us down. And so what we end up doing is that we end up setting agendas for other people and setting the standard in our minds and creating these roles that we expect people to play in our lives, and it's a role that they were never meant to fulfill. And so it creates this dynamic of us tearing other people down and breaking them down because they're not meeting these standards that we've set for them, because we're not willing to go inside ourselves and to be vulnerable with ourselves and to figure out what's really going on. And I think that definitely needs to stop, because I feel like we are hindering ourselves from living a life that we are truly and have been truly created to live, which is a life of abundance and freedom and love. And I think that this weird relationship that we have with vulnerability is, we have this idea that if we are vulnerable with ourselves, that it's going to kill us. And it's like, if it didn't kill you to go through the experience, why do you think thinking about it and feeling the emotions would kill you? Like, if you overcame the experience, you are still standing. Why are you assuming that taking yourself there and thinking about it and addressing the emotions attached to it, why do you think that that's going to kill you? But I think that, honestly, when it comes to submitting to vulnerability, I think that it teaches you, when you allow yourself to go there and you allow yourself to surrender and to submit to it, I think it honestly teaches you to take a risk on yourself, because because you're worth it. And obviously, is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yes. No one told us that change was easy, but it's definitely necessary. I feel like the next level and the next dimension the next dimension of your blessing requires a new you. It requires a better you. It requires you to be whole. And for you to do that, you have to go within yourself. And so I feel like I'm here to really tell you guys, there is nothing greater than you outside of you. So stop looking for external fixes for an internal malfunction. Take the time that is required. Take the effort that is required. Take the time and effort that you dispense on other things that don't really serve you, and really dig deep within yourself and to truly uncover the things that need to be uncovered, address the things that need to be uncovered, face the things that need to be uncovered, so that you can really find healing and freedom within yourself, so that you can truly start to live a life of abundance and to start setting new standards for yourself. Because the longer you walk around without trying to avoid being vulnerable with yourself and trying to avoid addressing the things that you know need to be addressed in the season of your life, the more you walk around doing that, the more that you are making decisions from a place of lack and scarcity and fear and depression. And so how do you think that those things, those decisions that you're making from that place, how do you think that those are going to affect you 5 years from now? They're not going to positively affect you. And so you might as well just take the time, create the space for yourself, separate yourself from whoever you need to separate yourself from, whether it's social media or people or family or relationships. Separate yourself, create that margin for yourself. Self-love is the most important love that you will ever experience. And it takes a lot of digging deep and looking within your own soul to really make sure that your intentions are pure, that you set and you are creating and living a life from pure motives and intentions, and that you create a new standard for yourself and that you are able to tap into your fullest potential. Because avoiding it means that you are, again, making decisions and living a life based on lack and scarcity and fear and depression and sadness and unforgiveness, and all of those things have their own symptoms, and all of those things spill into so many different areas of your life. And so if you're not careful, you are going to be making decisions that will negatively affect you years from now, months from now. And so you're basically digging a deeper hole for yourself. So I know that we all have a really weird relationship with vulnerability because we've never been taught that it's okay to be vulnerable. We've never been taught that even if you don't want to be vulnerable with people, although it's a requirement of us every day, whenever you're engaging with someone, you have to be vulnerable, to open yourself up to your thoughts, your opinions, and sharing them. That's vulnerability. That's what it looks like. And I think that we have this really screwed up idea of being vulnerable with ourselves, that it's going to take us out, that it's going to kill us, when in reality, it's what you need to release yourself and to give yourself permission to live your life to the fullest. So like I mentioned, there is nothing greater than you outside of you. So stop looking for external fixes for an internal malfunction. I hope this encourages you guys and inspires you. If it does, make sure that you leave your comments down below. Let me know if you guys have any other topics that you want me to discuss. And of course, be safe, stay blessed, and remember to always, always treat yourself. Peace out.